We're called the meeting to order. Have a roll call.
Larry Ghosted, John Glasspool,
Here.
Josh Grand, Franklin Hahn,
Here.
Chase Munson,
Here.
Rich Shield,
Here.
and Eric Johnson.
Here. Did everybody read the minutes? Any questions, comments, concerns on the minutes? Someone want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion to approve.
A second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. So I guess you can,
Ready? Please take notice that an application has been made by Maria Vega on behalf of MNRE 1570 US 1461 LLC at 1570 US 1461 East in the Crescent for an interim use permit to operate a cannabis retail business with medical cannabis endorsement in the Highway Business District in La Crescent Township, and that's part of Government Lot 6 in the southeast quarter, Section 11, Township 104, Range 4. Said applicant standing and making application is SV owner of said described lands. A hearing on this application will be held at the Houston County Commissioners Room in Caledonia at 5:50 p.m. on Thursday, May 28th of 2026. All persons having an interest in the matter may attend the hearing or submit comments relative to the granting or denying of said application. Comments should be mailed to the Environmental Services Department in Caledonia or emailed to the zoning office and must be received by Tuesday, May 19th of 2026 to be included for review prior to the hearing. All comments are considered public record, and this was advertised on May 13th of 2026. We do have Representative Maria's not here, but Dylan is here tonight on behalf of the LLC. And so they're, like your board packet said, they're operating as a retail business currently, which is just a permitted use, but the medical cannabis side of it would be considered interim.
so.
Good evening.
Would you explain that, the difference?
So currently, the business that is operating there is an adult use cannabis business. Anybody that is 21 years of age or older can come in and buy adult use cannabis. What we are looking to be able to do for the tenant is to get the interim use permit issued so they can now administer medical cannabis to the local community. Currently, the way it's structured, you have to have the interim use permit issued to be able to fulfill medical orders. So they're just looking to be able to have this, granted by the county so that they can start, helping that particular segment of customers. Because the Office of Cannabis Management doesn't allow for that endorsement to be issued unless the county signs off and says that all, or whatever local municipality governs that particular property, saying that they've met all building and zoning requirements. So they already sell cannabis, they just would like to be able to sell it to medical patients.
So then, do they have to have, and I'm trying to learn, do they have to have like a prescription from a doctor to buy this, or?
So yes, you have to go through a certification from a doctor, and then there's a pharmacist that then would prescribe and say what amount and what modalities. So like either if it's something that's inhaled or ingested, or what forms the patient would be able to use, and they have to be consulted by an on-site consultant or pharmacist every 3 months, just to make sure that they are, continuing to have the same, either their symptoms have been alleviated, or, if they need an adjustment in their dosage, or what have you. It is a very regulated part of the process.
Can you touch on who you have to have on staff for like their certification in order to be able to achieve this?
Yes, currently for this particular location, they have contracted with a licensed pharmacist in the state of Minnesota, Amelia Meerhoff. But you also have the ability to have your staff trained. They have to go through a 30-hour training program and get a certification that then has annual additional educational requirements to maintain that status, to be able to consult and dispense to a medical patient. And so that basically there's on record with the state, and they keep a registry of all of the licensed pharmacists and certified cannabis consultants. And basically, today these people are approved to have these interactions with patients, and have gone through the proper training to be able to make informed and educated decisions for the patient.
So in other words, you have to, a certificate or something that you've had this training then, is that?
Correct, yeah. Yep. And then you have to, there's continuing education every year following. But currently, there's an actual licensed pharmacist who is, licensed in the state of Minnesota to dispense a wide variety of medicines, not just cannabis, that will be working for them.
So if you were to receive your interim permit tonight, then you would have to go to the state to get your license for that yet?
Yes, to get the endorsement, they already have their license for the recreational
Right.
part, but if you were to give the permit and sign off, basically then the OCM would send out a representative to inspect that the facility is compliant, because there's certain standards of making sure that all product and inventory for medical versus recreational are kept, wholly separate, and there's no overlap. And there's specific protocols for how the POS transactions and interactions go for the medical side versus the recreational side. So once they come out and inspect and see that everything meets the standards of compliance, then they would issue the endorsement and allow the location to start, helping medical patients.
So there's no lottery or drawing to get in a medical endorsement?
No, you just have to be compliance. Yep, it's 100%.
That,
Yeah,
it's different than the recreational one?
correct, yeah. So you can have a recreational, and then it's just an attachment to that license, but not vice versa. Any other questions?
Other questions for him? Is there any public comments? If you don't have any more questions, well, I guess we got findings in here.
Yep.
Thank you for your time.
You can stay there, that's fine, there's no public comment.
Wasn't sure.
No.
So one, that the proposed use conforms to the county land use plan. Analysis states that the land use plan has multiple goals and policies regarding diversifying and promoting economic development, which I'll support this proposal.
Where did you find that?
What are you looking for?
I gotta find the sucker. Maybe I don't have one in there.
Oh, there were,
No, we can look together, that's fine.
there were a couple attachments that came in after the packets were printed, so yeah, they were loose.
You want a roll call vote or just
You
voice
guys,
vote?
just voice is fine, or however you guys wanna do it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Go ahead.
Two, that the applicant demonstrates a need for the proposed use. Analysis states that there are currently no licensed medical cannabis dispensaries in Houston County, and applicant identifies as that this will improve healthcare accessibility. There are 2 licensed in Winona County.
All in favor of number 2, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead, 3.
3, that the proposed use will not degrade the water quality of the county. Analysis states that this site is strictly for indoor retail use and does not include any manufacturing or processing components that would warrant closer review.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead. 4 is not applicable.
Oh yeah, we didn't skip those.
Strike 4 and 5?
Are you motioning to do that? 4, 5, and 13?
Is there more of them?
13.
4, 5, and 13?
I'll motion.
Motion to strike
Second
them?
it.
Somebody second it?
Eric, second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
So 4 is not applicable, 5 not applicable. 6, that potential pollution hazards have been addressed and that standards have been met. Analysis states that appropriate disposal of solid waste and management of septage will mitigate pollution concerns.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to 7.
7, that adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided. Analysis states that this is an existing facility and all utilities and access roads are present.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
8, that adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide sufficient off-street parking and loading space to serve the proposed use. Analysis states that the previous application identified there are approximately 130 parking stalls, which exceeds the county requirement, and the addition of a medical cannabis service is not expected to significantly increase traffic beyond existing levels, and that service was likely considered during the initial planning stages for this facility.
All in favor of 8, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to 9.
9, that facilities are provided to eliminate any traffic congestion or traffic hazard which may result from the proposed use. Analysis states that medical cannabis was included in the original plan in 2025, so is likely included in planning, and therefore the addition of a medical cannabis service is not expected to significantly increase traffic beyond existing levels.
I got a question on that. So did the DOT ever do a study on that?
Yes.
Did they?
I don't remember what the outcome was, but I do know that they did it.
Never saw anything either?
I know we discussed it last summer, but I don't know that there was ever, I never saw like a formal traffic study out of any as a result of that.
Just have to take their word for it.
Yeah, I know it was completed. I just don't know what specifically was addressed in it.
Yeah, and I think they had, at that time, they had made a determination that they wouldn't be doing like any kind of special lanes, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, the full study I never saw.
That answer your question?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
10, that the interim use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted. Analysis states that the previous use of this property was retail and similar to this proposal. This site has been operating as a cannabis retail store for about a month, and the addition of a medical cannabis endorsement does not change the nature or intensity of the use.
All in favor of 10, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to 11.
11, that the establishment of the interim use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for predominant uses in the area. Analysis states that there are likely no development opportunities on surrounding vacant property due to natural limitations, so this proposal will have no impact in that respect.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go to 12.
12, that adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, and vibrations so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs and other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result. Analysis states that this type of operation will not have fumes, dust, noise, and vibrations, and since this is retail only, there should be no odor. State and local standards closely regulate signs for cannabis businesses, and those standards are more restrictive than what is present from the previous operation.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
13 is not applicable. 14, that the intensity of any proposed commercial or industrial development is not greater than the intensity of the surrounding uses or not greater than the intensity characteristic of the applicable zoning district. Analysis states that this location is adjacent to both the city of La Crescent and La Crosse, and a retail operation of this type will be very similar to commercial development in both of those communities. More specifically, there will be at least 2 similar cannabis businesses within a mile and a half of the site.
All in favor of 14, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
15, that site-specific conditions and such other conditions are established as required for the protection of the public's health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Analysis states that the applicants received approval to open their retail establishment from the Office of Cannabis Management, which means that they met all state requirements intended to mitigate concerns related to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. The addition of a medical cannabis endorsement will require similar approvals from the state and should not alter the existing conditions.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead. When you're ready. Oh, we're,
That was the last one.
okay. All right, motion to accept the findings.
Make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. So do you want to read the proposed motion?
Yeah, so it would be a motion to recommend the Houston County Board approve an interim use permit to operate a cannabis retail business with a medical cannabis endorsement in the Highway Business District in La Crescent, with two conditions in La Crescent Township. It's one, that the permittee shall comply with all federal, state, and local laws and regulations, and two, that the county may enter onto the premises at reasonable times and in a reasonable manner to ensure the permit holder is in compliance with the conditions and all other applicable statutes, rules, and ordinances.
Is there any discussion on the proposed motion or a motion to approve it or?
I make a motion to approve with the two conditions.
Second it.
Any more discussion on it before we vote? Roll call vote?
John?
Yes.
Franklin?
Aye.
Eric?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
And Rich?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you so much for your time. You have a great evening. Thank you.
Adios.
Did you get one of these?
Yeah, I got mine.
Did you guys get one of
I
these?
did the three of them.
Oh, okay.
Yep. They're all separate.
Got for time, there we go. Thanks.
Ready?
Whenever you're ready, I guess.
All right, so please take notice that an application has been made by Beverly Hanson at 22737 State 16 in Rushford to rezone an area from the Agricultural Protection District to the Residential District in Yucatan Township on the following premises. It's part of the northwest quarter of Section 29, Township 104, Range 7. A said applicant standing and making application RSV owner of said described lands. A hearing on this application will be held at the Houston County Commissioners Room in Caledonia at 6:10 p.m. on Thursday, May 28th. All persons having an interest in the matter may attend the hearing or submit comments relative to the granting or denying of said application. Comments should be mailed to the Environmental Services Department in Caledonia or emailed to the zoning office and must be received by Tuesday, May 19th of 2026 to be included for review prior to the hearing. All comments are considered part of the public record, and this was advertised on May 13th of 2026.
Is Beverly Hanson here? Would you come forward?
I'm on my way. Boom.
Boom, boom.
Okay,
So would you want to explain to the board, Beverly, why you want to change your,
to a residential from agriculture. Well, I lost agriculture, of course, when Orvin bought that there. Yeah, Larry bought that 2-point-some acres from me, so then I lost the 10 acres that is called agriculture. So then, been thinking about it, and I figured, well, I should maybe do something now. Hopefully that some of my family might buy the place when I'm gone. And I think I should make it a residential and make it more uniform with the other areas around there. And that's something I had considered before, only I didn't get around to doing anything. And here I am.
But there's other homes around there that are agricultural. They're zoned agricultural.
Yeah, there is, but I can't be
Why can't you be?
because I'm less than the 10 acres.
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah,
Bev isn't farm or ag because she has no ag animals. There are no ag buildings. There's no fencing and room for animals. If you look at the map, you'll see her house part and then Larry's, and then there's some woods behind Larry's that completes that 8 acres. But it kind of looks to me as if when all the splitting was being done long ago, it maybe was overlooked because it's definitely not an ag. You couldn't raise anything on it.
yeah,
Well, you could go into something like turkey barns and go, but as it is right now, you couldn't.
up where the house is built now, you know, there's that flat piece up there. When we first sold the farm and we're gonna build there, our plans were to start building at least 2 years or better before we would build on that land, so then Orvin would work a little of it, you know, that he could. And then it ended up with, and Larry bought off that piece down below, which was handy for me, somebody right there to be with me because I lost Orvin early on. And then we started building a house in town, or fixing a house in town on the avenue, and we were gonna live in town for a few years and then start building our house on that piece of land. Well, guess what? We got into town and I did not like it. So we finished that house in town and rented it out and finally sold it. It was on the avenue. And then Orvin and, Harley Jordy, they built the house where we are now, where I am now.
So it was gonna be used as ag as like a 2-year thing before they built the house, and then
You
when
know,
they built the
you could-
house, there's no ag going on now.
Built in 78, wasn't it?
78,
Yeah.
So you've been in the ag district since,
Yeah, and I didn't realize that either until Orvin bought a farm with a partnership up by Brattsburg, which that piece, and that's a farmland, and that's a piece that I bought out his wife on that piece, so I do have that farm up there by Brattsburg. And then I rent that land out to the Johnsons. And then I have the houses, now I have both houses rented out up there on that farm. There was 2 houses on that farm.
This
And we
question is for Amelia. So we, in the zoning ordinance, we have a zoning ordinance that to be agricultural
Yeah,
homestead, you have to have livestock? We have that in our zoning ordinance?
10 acres.
That, you're talking tax classification.
Right.
No,
never been farmed
the
since we
homestead part
built.
isn't
Yeah,
there.
but we gotta go by the zoning ordinance here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to find out what the zoning.
May I add something? Larry is directly behind her, and he is residential.
Yeah, and I got a copy of the reason he's residential in here, and when we get to it, I'm gonna have Amelia read it, the reason he's residential. It's
Yeah.
in my packet, but you don't have a copy of that, but we do and Amelia does. But I wanna let the board have a chance to ask questions and before we get into that, and we gotta have public comments later.
Amelia, how many acres is it to be ag? I thought it was 12.
For taxes, I think it sounded like 10 acres was
10.
the threshold there.
10.
I think there's some confusion here there between tax classification and zoning.
Right.
And,
Okay,
And if-
To get ag classification for taxes, you have to have 10 acres for farming.
Or be inclusive and exclusive,
Right.
yeah.
So right now, since 78, she's been in compliance with our,
Yeah, I went back and traced or looked up all the building permits, and this was permitted in the ag district as a conditional use permit.
so she's fine the way she is now.
Yes, it's in compliance.
So you look at her house and consider it agricultural?
Well, they took,
She's in the ag, sorry.
when they, at tax time, you know, when I was with the taxes, with the land taxes on the farm or something, then they used mine down there to, I don't know what,
That would be a little different.
yeah, well, but then they took that away from me,
Homestead?
the ag part, because my taxes were changed this last year.
That's for tax appraisal, yes.
Yeah, the appraisal changed because it was taken away from the ag. You know,
My question is, what,
Cindy, where do you come in?
I'm
My neighbor.
related, and we're related, we have the same grandkids,
Together.
Oh, okay.
yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah, I was just curious.
Oh, okay. I'm curious on how can you still say it's ag? I mean, it might have been ag once when it was still connected to like Christensen's property and all that, but it's,
We have a lot of parcels throughout the county that are probably considered residential, but are still in the ag district. We don't rezone everything just because of their tax classification.
then, even if they request it,
Well, we've never had a request to do that.
so then there's no precedent saying you can't.
But if
This
we,
would be setting the precedence.
And what's wrong with it, though?
well, we'd probably have 200 to 500, throwing out numbers, that want to go to residential, and then there'd be no farming in Houston County.
Well,
Because
this is
then they want,
Olivine farming.
then the people that move out from the city, out in the country, they want the city living environment out in the country. And farming is the main source of income in Houston County. It's not factories.
Well,
I understand that.
Like, the county land use plan protects farmland. I mean, we saw that with that solar array. So just because somebody moves out into the country and says, well, I want to switch this, they couldn't anyway, right? Amelia, I mean,
No, when you get out into, or away from the cities, I would not be recommending that at all. I guess I want to clarify one thing, and maybe that'll help. Even in the ag district, the minimum you need is 1 acre to build on. Anything between that 1 acre and 39.99 acres just requires a conditional use permit. And then once you're over 40 acres, it's a farm, and then you could build just as a permitted use. So the fact that this is just a small parcel isn't necessarily a reason that you're existing out of noncompliance or anything like that. Like I said, it was permitted as a conditional use back in 1978, so it is a permitted structure as an on-farm dwelling.
Right, we have a lot of those parcels
Yeah.
that you throughout the ag district that doesn't look like it's a farm, but it's there.
Well, and I think the whole classification of, or title of ag district is maybe a little misleading too, because a lot of that also encompasses recreational land, and when you get into Yucatan, there's a lot of that hardwood forest, especially state land, and then some of the, like adjacent to cricks. And so that's sort of similar to what she has on this property. It's not necessarily that it's all tillable acreage.
Amelia, what's the, like the downside for Houston County if this gets changed?
I guess my concern is that when we've been reviewing these here recently, we've had a few in the La Crescent area. It's always, or it's been, I want to rezone to build a house. And so you're looking at a land use that they're proposing for 50 to 100 years, and we know it's going to be there. In this situation, we're looking at a house that's been there for 50 years already, and I don't, once it becomes residential, there's certain things that are permitted or conditional uses in that district that aren't in the ag district, like an apartment building. And, without knowing what the future, if they want to look at that in the future and we know that's what the intent is, then we can review it at that time. Where now, this really doesn't change anything. And I'm a little concerned that if people catch wind of like, oh, this was done and thinking it was done because of a non-compliance, we've had 250 conditional use permits that have been issued in the, for like a similar situation since 1969 or whatever. And I don't want to be doing a number of these that are somewhat unnecessary.
You've had 250 since, say, 70?
I think, well, since permitting went into effect,
67, probably, yeah.
yeah.
That's not that many per year.
No, and then there's a number of them that exist as legal non-conforming uses because they were in place when zoning went into effect.
But I'm still curious on to why Larry's can be, and it butts up right too, and they're both exactly the same. They are a home spot. Nothing more.
You want to explain that?
I guess based on the research that I did, it looks like Larry's was rezoned to resolve a problem that he had and that he was living in an ag building, and that's not allowed. And so I guess also, like, in looking at that as the pure justification for rezoning this one, I don't know that that's
But I'm
a single
asking,
reason to do
if
it.
his was put as res, when you zoned it, when you changed
That was to
it,
fix a problem, an issue that,
Amelia will read the minutes from the, if you would please, from the planning commission and the reason that it was zoned agricultural. You probably don't have it, but you listen. Amelia read it. We all have a copy of it here in front of us.
what page is that?
You find it?
10.
Okay.
So it's
It's on
just.
page 10.
Yeah, it was from public hearing number 781, is that he's seeking to rezone from an agricultural protection district to residential after the fact in Yucatan Township. And one of the items is, that says the aerial shows that the house sits in the middle of the lot, and Larry had an application several years ago, and it was denied when, and was to revert back to a shed, and the zoning office was unaware of it being a dwelling until Larry brought it up at a Houston County Board meeting. And so, like I said, it was the resolution that they came up with at that time, and this could have been rezoned at that time.
I remember that. And Larry, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Bob Scanlon threaten you
God,
with having
we're
to?
not gonna,
Oh, we're not talking about.
That's the only reason why it had to get changed. Because Bob had told him he had to move out.
we're not gonna do
We're not gonna get
accusations.
into any
Okay, but I'm
arguments
just
here.
saying-
Right now, Amelia has the floor. She's reading the minutes. I don't want to
Alright.
be interrupted.
Did you want me to go on?
We'll go on.
That was the main part. The second one was just that floodplain issue is the main concern in the years back. And since then, Larry took it upon himself to do some work on this. He has worked with the DNR removing the dwelling from the floodplain. The other issue is the proximity of the dwelling to city limits, and it is over 2 miles from the city of Rushford, but it is within 2 miles of the city of Rushford Village. And Bob spoke with Joyce Iverson, city clerk, about this. She said south of Highway 16, there is some rural residential going up to the county line, and north of Highway 16 is protected ag. The Yucatan Township Board and adjoining property owners were notified, and there were no inquiries to the zoning office in regard to the application.
So to answer your question, why Larry went residential, did you understand it when she read it?
Yes, I understand that.
He, after the fact, the board, the planning commission, I wasn't on there, it's right here in their minutes, they felt sorry for him, so not to get him in hot water, they give him after the fact residential, but that's no reason to allow this to be changed to residential just because he got to change the residential after the fact, is what I'm trying to explain to you.
And I understand that.
It wasn't just feel sorry for me. You guys had this layout of the flood zone with a highlighter pen back then, back in 70.
Oh, yeah.
I remember it was put out there, this highlighter pen on the flood zone. So I was put in the flood zone. The night of my meetings, they came up with this here flood zone. I thought it was gonna be all settled. Nope, they came up this flood zone. 2007 flood came, guess what? No water. Everybody thought I was gonna be dead because I was in the flood zone. I didn't have no water. People came and looked for me. I was right there. So 2007 came, 2009, the DNR were gonna do it for free. But it was gonna cost me back then, it was gonna cost me like 10 grand to have the water or whatever, have it tested for flood zone. The flood came, 2009 came, I called up a DNR, it took me out of the flood zone. Then I went back here and got it.
Yep.
Not to feel sorry for me.
But you didn't have a permit to live in the shed, did you?
I wasn't even living there, I was there, staying there. I go other places.
I mean, it was an after-the-fact permit for your dwelling.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I had a hardship with the trailer house there.
I'm not disputing any of that. I'm just stating the fact that it was an after-the-fact permit that was issued, and they changed it to residential to satisfy, or in order you to get a permit to have a legal dwelling.
Yeah, that's what, I did all this.
So when you look at,
It didn't go overnight, it took a while because of that flood zone, you know. I thought I was gonna be all done with it the first time I went around with it, and it took another 2-3 years to get it settled because of the flood zone.
when you look at the characteristics of that area, there are many houses. There's like 3 or 4 new ones recently between, well, by the county line to, by Bev's. It's becoming, because it's so close to the golf course, it's so close to the city of Rushford Village, it's so close to the city of Rushford, that it's becoming more and more populated. I can't see any reason, other than you guys don't want to be overthrown with more people requesting this, that she isn't residential.
Because she's compliant where she's at.
But you can still change it to residential,
Why?
because she's requesting it and she's a
I
taxpayer.
thought it'd be better to be
Better
that when it comes
if
time
if
to
she passes the way that
to
we-
sell it.
I haven't heard an answer yet that tells me this is not a good idea. I'm not hearing a bona fide reason. I'm getting, because we don't want to have more work, there's 250.
Because some people would look at this as spot zoning. We'd have people wanting to be as residential throughout the whole county.
She's next
Same
door to
reason.
one, it's not spot.
Nothing else that can be
She's
by.
next door to one where? Larry's? Yeah, and now we know why that is.
I know, but that's not the only one down there. There are more people with residential in that area, and I can't understand why you can't do it. Other than you don't want to.
I explained it to you that the office, that's all we'd get done here. We'd have meetings once a week.
Well, you don't get,
Who's
You don't get that many requests
responsible for
for it.
any of the costs involved here? And what are the costs?
As far as like for hearings or?
Well, I mean, for
Change
the
it.
whole, if this got rezoned, what would, the county's responsibility be money-wise, and what would, Beverly's be? Or would there be any?
Well, I mean, there was a cost of this hearing, but like moving forward, nothing changes. There's no change in taxes, there's no change, the thing that would impact most probably would be feedlots, because there's a half-mile setback to feedlots from residential. So it would just extend it a little further west than what it currently would be because of Larry's. But yeah, it changes nothing, and I guess I also don't, if
Please.
status quo is compliant, then why do we have to change it?
Well, I mean, I'm only asking because she wants to change it, and if she's willing to pay for it,
The cost was this hearing was paid for, the $700 was paid for. That was not a county cost, that was a
Yeah.
cost instilled by them. And I have to say, for you to just blanket say no, and it's because other people will want to do it, doesn't satisfy
Well, I guess where I'm at is, if it costs $700 to have this done, I can't imagine that there's gonna be like a whole line of people coming to do this.
There's not much, anything else in that area.
So I don't, even if it sets a precedent that people can change it, they have to pay for it. So
Well,
what's the difference?
Amelia,
Right.
when people pay for a hearing, there's no guarantee what the outcome's gonna be, is there?
Right.
Right.
So,
So I mean, if, like, right now, Bev put up the $700, and she doesn't know what's gonna happen. So anybody else who comes and says, well, I have to pay $700 for this, most people would look at it and say, God, I don't know if I really wanna, spend that money to make this change. But the people who do, if they're willing to pay the money,
Potential
and they're,
resale.
I would think they should be able to.
so you wanna do it for, we couldn't hear what you said.
I says I would like to have it, so for my resale of the place,
So that's your reason is for.
Peace of mind.
peace of mind, yeah,
I don't,
that's what it's supposed to be, it should be. It's not enough to be called for acres, you know, my goodness, most of the stuff up by the house, you know, there's stuff across the creek there that's considered with it, woods, that's good for nothing,
Yeah, those woods are worth a lot of money.
not mine.
Depends on the
Say
trees.
they're good for nothing anymore. They're good.
Well,
But I think though that the comment that,
If you're hunting there, it ain't easy to hunt.
I think though, Larry, or Eric, I mean, the comment you made where you paid 700 with whether you win or lose, and just kind of shirked it off. $700 to people on fixed incomes,
It's a lot of money, but
It is.
what I'm saying, but what you're saying is that if
well,
they
think of the
wanna-
money you'd make if
they want-
250 people asked for it.
if you wanna spend the $700, it doesn't mean you might get it, you might not, you
That's
don't
true.
know.
I only raised that issue because I think
didn't
if you
bring
have
it
to
up.
pay the
He did.
$700, I don't
Rich
think you're
did.
gonna be flooded.
I don't think you're gonna be flooded,
that-
and if you
with
are,
that-
it's more money for the county.
That's not what.
What is the
Not what
point?
we're here for about the money. We're here about precedent and way things are done.
This is,
Or
and I see
worried
how
about
the way
it's
things
too
are
easy
done.
for her if it doesn't cost anything.
I mean,
If
it's-
too easy,
why
everybody
haven't-
else would try to wanna do it.
Why haven't
right?
you done it
It does
before?
cost money, so.
Why now? Why now?
Why does it
I
matter?
think
I'm
that
92 years old,
But
and
it's-
I don't expect to be around that much longer.
It's 1978.
sorry.
It's been that way since
Yes, sir.
1978.
Bev, if it's any consolation,
But
if,
then, I can't get into how.
when you go to sell it, and realtors call all the time to ask, I will tell them it's a compliant parcel, because it is. And so there's nothing wrong with it when you go to sell it.
Nothing wrong with it.
So you're telling me, and I want to know this from you, that the only reason you're saying no is because other people may want to do this?
No, I didn't say that.
Who said that?
in your.
I thought you said that.
There would be, if
There's
we were to
nothing
use
in
the
the
same
area.
logic for this one, other people could do this as well throughout the county. And this would set precedent to do that. So then we'll have spot zoning all around the county of residential districts.
So what's wrong with that?
Because it's in the ag district, so people that are using it for ag are gonna be squeezed and pushed out by the residential.
Isn't there something to do with the 2 mile radius of the
Yeah, but you're over, it says right here in the
Over two.
packet, you're over 2 miles from the city of Rushford.
No.
But not the village of Rushford.
Village is not the city of Rushford. It's right here in my packet. I got it in writing.
Village of Rushford, look it up, it's considered a city.
No, it is a city now. It may not have been then, but it is now.
Oh, I just got this packet in the mail on Tuesday. That's all
Did you
I'm
check
going
that
by.
out? The village is a city?
Yes.
It is.
I'm-
See, so they're within 2 miles.
I guess the other concern with that though also is that the village is 33 square miles, so that brings in a lot of acreage of Houston County that, I suppose you could say would be within 2 miles, that it probably shouldn't be rezoned to
It would only be on the.
residential. Larry, part of the concern is that rezoning to residential could be seen as a workaround from the 1 per quarter rule. Because it would allow an additional house in that quarter, because one would be in residential, one would be in ag district.
Okay, but I still haven't received the answer on, when I was told by one of you that it would set a precedent and we don't want 250 people coming in. Who said that? And was that the only reason? The only reason you're saying no?
Hearing several reasons.
That's the only one I'm hearing. That and the spot
I don't
zone.
understand why are you so combative? I don't get it.
Because Eric, every time I come up against you, you're against me. Every time I come forward, you're against me. It started back when you were at the
Careful.
township.
Be careful,
this
you're
is
being
personal to
recorded
you.
here when you
I understand that.
say these
It
things.
goes both
against
ways.
Somebody that,
So this is a personal thing you have.
Not against you. I'm personal with her. I'm against you when you say something and then you say you didn't say it.
Oh, I'm done.
So if we would allow this, and we would potentially have spot rezoning all over the county, would that put a lot of pressure on feedlots?
Yes.
Because then you would have a residential piece close to a feedlot.
That's where I was gonna
There
go.
might not be any right in that vicinity, but there are a lot of feedlots in this county.
Would you have to have a CUP for them to be rezoned?
For
For who to be
If,
rezoned.
if, let's say, let's just play devil's advocate. If you granted this for her and you set the precedent, which we think would happen, would anybody else have to have a CUP or come forward to get it?
To get what?
To get residential?
It'd be a rezone.
Okay,
One else.
so at that point, you can look at what's around it, and if there is a chance of a feedlot or something, you can talk about it at that point. But you shouldn't punish her because something may happen in the future
Okay, we're not punishing anybody. What we're saying,
when she can't sleep at night.
well, that's, I feel sorry for her. I really do, if she can't sleep at night. Because I go through that too, and I can't sleep nights. I take some sleeping pills.
And the only a good resolve would be just to say yes to her.
I just as
We
someone
can-
had hoped I get done, so that when I sell the place and somebody in the family, I just pray that somebody can buy it. But they're all buying something else because I'm still
Have you
here.
tried to sell it?
Huh?
Have you tried to sell it?
I've had offers, I've had a
Well, then they're not afraid that it isn't residential if you've had offers to buy it.
Well, no, it was my grandson, and, well, he wanted a place sooner than I would sell, because I'm not selling, I'm living there.
Living.
She's
You know, I won't sell.
As far as your question on, we can go to this, if you're next to a feedlot, we won't let you be residential. But if you're next to it, a hog setup, a dairy setup, what have you,
Well, I'm
we
not.
can't just go pick and choose, well, we're gonna let you be residential, and then 2 miles down the road, no, we're not gonna let you
I'm
be
next to-
residential, we
excuse
can't
me.
do that.
I'm next to a fish hatchery, you know.
Do they still have?
Yes, they do.
They still
A
have
little bit, not much.
not much.
No, but
there's
every year they have
some
some.
guy rents it out from,
Yep.
from them, and they have a fish hatchery down there. I was sad when that was built. I would have loved to have bought that land, little piece of land, and had just a little park area there, picnic area,
They kind of do.
but that's not feasible anymore.
Any more questions before we move on to public comment?
I guess not. Can we sign in here?
I wrote your name, that's good
Is
enough.
there any public comments out there? Would you come forward and sit down and state your name and?
Good evening. My name is Jackie Baker. I'm an adjoining property owner to
Yes.
Bev Hansen, and I fully support her request. If the property is no longer being actively used for agricultural production, agricultural zoning may no longer be the match, the actual use or intended future use of the land. Minnesota agricultural preservation laws are generally aimed at protecting larger, viable farming parcels of 40 acres or more. Minnesota law defines agricultural preserves as land intended to remain in agricultural production. If a property functions primarily as a home site rather than productive farmland, that can support a finding that residential zoning is more appropriate.
So
One-
that's the-
one-
so- Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, thanks. One majorly important piece of documentation that you guys should be aware of is in the comprehensive land use plan. It's this map, future county land use, and you guys talk about setting precedent that this may happen throughout the county. There's very few places that residential properties can be zoned residential. And what you see here in the county land use plan, comprehensive land use plan, are a bunch of circles. And those circles represent properties or a perimeter around incorporated cities. And they are within a half mile from the city of Rushford Village.
Yeah.
There's a public golf course. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the area. There's a public golf course. We own 10 acres of land that's already zoned residential. So this is a unique area of Houston County, and I really admire Bev and Larry for having an interest in their property and wanting it to be zoned residential. And I've heard that there's really no harm in it, right? It's not going to change anything other than the feedlot issue. I really am a little surprised at the pushback on this. It fits the comprehensive land use plan perfectly. This is what's in your plan. The circle here is the perimeter around the city of Rushford Village, and you'll see Bev Hanson's property is smack dab in the middle of that.
So
So in-
all your neighbors then, like Tracy Erickson and you, they're all zoned residential?
I am zoned agricultural.
Okay.
If I
There
could
you
be
answered my
zoned,
question.
yeah.
But you have a piece of property
We have 40 acres, yeah.
that's zoned residential.
Oh, yeah.
It was changed, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we own another 10 acres down, just real close to Bev. We requested it to be zoned residential, and it was approved. That's why I'm really surprised at the pushback here.
It's on the opposite side of the golf course, on the west side of the
Yeah,
golf
that was
course.
gonna be a subdivision, wasn't it?
But very close, still within this
That was gonna be a
parameter.
subdivision. You were gonna build several houses there, weren't you?
We had thought about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another really important piece of information is,
Well, you got 3 minutes,
Yeah,
and we
sorry, I
didn't start
didn't do the
the
timer.
oh yeah,
clock, so I think you used up 2 minutes, so you maybe got 1 minute left.
okay, thank you, appreciate it. Bev isn't asking for much, you know, she's not asking to take any land, any prime egg land out of production. She's not asking to build a new house. She's just asking to get her property rezoned to residential, because it will never be good egg land. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else?
My name's Wayne Ronigan, Sheldon Township Supervisor. I'm here to talk to you about one house per quarter. What's happening to the farms in Houston County if this happens? Are we gonna have more than one house per quarter? Because in the county laws, that's the way it is. So why doesn't it stay that way? Why are we even arguing about this? Unless it's a subdivision. Maybe that's what we have to look at. But I'm worried about our farms in Houston County. If this happens, it's not gonna be good. and we can't let it happen.
To that end, if somebody bought this 8.47 acres, is that right? If somebody bought that and then came back in and said, I want to put another house here, whether it's zoned residential or not, the quarter rule would still apply.
Only in ag district.
I don't know.
Only in ag districts, not in residential.
Yeah,
So if someone wanted to put an apartment building up there, they could,
it
correct?
had, yeah, it'd have to be platted for additional lots if you were gonna do
Right.
something. But yeah, residential would allow dwellings, you just have to meet, the minimum lot size.
Well, I can put an apartment building up? Mine?
Yeah, if you can set a septic system.
Idea.
I'm just worried about the farms in Houston County.
Well,
I didn't expect to talk, but you got me fired up.
thank you.
This piece of land don't affect anything else.
Not doing-
Anybody else? We'll go to, the public comments, that we got in our packet, and do you want to read them, Amelia?
Yeah, these just came in as we were walking out the door. So just put them on record. One is from Janet Boyum. It says, I'm concerned about the application Beverly Hanson has submitted through the hands of Mrs. Hatley for the rezoning from ag land to residential land. This is not the correct procedure and should not be allowed. I'm asking you to deny this application, and there's no reason for this change. The second one says, I would like to see this piece of property owned by Beverly Hanson, parcel number 1700350001, to remain in the agricultural district. My concern is that this sets a bad example. This application was not delivered by Beverly herself, but was delivered by Mrs. Scott Hatley, and that's signed Jared Olson. And then the third one says, to whom it might concern, I'm writing to urge you to recommend denial of the rezoning request by the Beverly Hanson 22737 State 16 Rushford, Minnesota 55971 property. It's parcel 1700350001. This land is agricultural, not residential, and there is no need for change. We all know what she's trying to do here. Thanks, Patty and Claire Olson.
Well, should we go to the findings? Finding here. I don't think I got them either. Maybe I do.
So I guess you guys have any additional findings you would like to include before we get going?
Where would find them on?
Is it on 7? 7. It's just different than normal?
Well, I
The
didn't
page.
have the last one. Oh, okay, here we go. So is there any of them that are non-applicable?
No, not with this one. Do you guys have any additional?
Okay, so want to go through them one at a time? The findings?
Yeah, we can.
Go ahead.
So number one, dwellings are allowed as either a permitted or conditional use in the agricultural protection district based on associated acreage and use, provided the quarter requirement can be met. That is how Houston County chose to conduct orderly rural residential development.
So explain that residential again on the quarter, according to our zoning ordinance.
So we allow one house per quarter in the ag district. And, but you don't need a full 40 acres. That could be on anything from 1 acre to 39.99 acres with a CUP, or 40 acres or more as a permitted use. You could potentially, one avenue to add an additional dwelling would be to rezone a parcel to residential if you meet the standard for that.
Okay,
Is that what you're looking for?
yeah.
And this is what this says, is that
This was mostly addressing the fact that you can build on a small acreage in the ag district and
We're
it's
just
still considered
reaffirming
ag.
what our
Yep,
ordinances are saying already,
yep.
correct? All right.
So if you have more than one residential dwelling property on a quarter, does that change the status of the, I mean, does that become a subdivision? Is that what it's called then? Or how many do you have to be a subdivision?
So in the past, they've made them plat, like these, he had to plat his. Our current surveyor has a little different approach to that, but, so I wouldn't do, until they had 2 or more, I wouldn't require a plat for it if it was residential.
Okay.
Some of these that exist as legal non-conforming uses, meaning that they were in place in 1967 when the ordinance went into effect, they just exist, some of them are half-acre lots in the ag district, yeah, they're just grandfathered in.
Okay, better go roll call vote on these.
Okay. John,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yeah, I think you explained it good enough for me to understand it, so I guess I go along with that one.
Chase,
Yes.
Rich,
Well, are we just talking about, is this statement true?
you agree with it,
Yeah.
and Eric.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
2, that the existing dwelling was permitted as a conditional use in the agricultural protection district, and that rule has not changed since it was permitted.
Okay, roll call on
Franklin,
it. Yes, I agree.
Chase,
Yes.
Rich,
Permitted as conditional use. Well, that's a true statement.
yeah, I propose these as statements of how it actually exists. So you agree?
I agree, yeah, it's a true statement.
Eric
Yes, I agree.
and John.
Yes.
Sorry, I thought you were asking a question. 3, an adjacent property was rezoned to residential after the fact. It seems as a mechanism to solve a problem. Chase,
Yes.
Rich,
That's, yeah, it was.
Eric,
Yes, that's true.
John,
Yes.
and Franklin.
Yes, I agree.
4, that surrounding property use is agricultural, recreational in nature, which meets the purpose of the agricultural protection district. Rich,
I don't think that's actually applicable because, adjacent properties are all also residential. So I guess I'll say no on that one.
okay. Eric,
Yes, I agree. Surrounding property is agricultural and recreational, in nature, which meets the purpose of an ag district.
John,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes, I agree.
Chase.
Yes.
5, this parcel is not used for agricultural production, but does have recreational value along Ferndale Creek. Eric,
Yes, I agree.
John,
Yes.
Franklin,
Yes.
Chase,
Yes.
Rich.
I don't think it's applicable. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Okay. 6, the comprehensive land use plan did not consider the city of Rushford or Rushford Village in its future land use map, and this location does fall within 2 miles of Rushford Village. John,
Yes.
Franklin,
You did say that the city of the South Rushford is considered part of the Rushford city? Is that correct?
It's the village.
Village, yes.
And it's just over 2 miles from the city. Because the city limits actually
It's
extends out
over
quite a
2
ways.
miles from the city of Rushford, but it's within the 2 miles of the
Of the
village.
Rushford
Village.
Village.
Well, it's a city,
I'll agree with that.
city of Rushford Village, 2 cities down there.
Sorry, you agreed? Okay. And Chase? Rich?
Yes, I'd add to that, they used to kind of call it cluster housing, but, they took cities, unincorporated towns, and they tried to draw concentric circles and try to keep as much, residential building in those circles. This is the perfect thing for that.
So
That's why I think it should be residential.
you would call that cluster housing?
They used to.
You good? And,
So, yes.
okay. And Eric?
Yes, I agree. And also in the comprehensive land use plan, we do not allow cluster housing in Houston County.
Well, that's, okay, we're gonna have the argument later.
So 7, that the urban expansion area section of the comprehensive land use plan states areas adjacent to incorporated communities are most susceptible to urban growth pressures, and therefore distinct policy should be adopted to ensure orderly and timely growth and to retain the land for agricultural purposes until such time as conversion to another is appropriate. Franklin?
Yes, I agree. We gotta protect the agricultural land.
Rich?
Yes, and I think that, that's what keeps, houses out of the country and off of, everybody's worried about ag land, it keeps them off of ag land.
Eric?
Yeah, I agree.
John? And Chase, did I miss you?
Yes. Yes and yes.
Motion to approve the findings.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. So do you want to read the proposed motion, Amelia?
I just set it up for if you chose to recommend it, it would be to recommend that the Houston County Board approve an amendment to the zoning map for the portion of the parcel. You told me that changed, didn't you? It would be the motion to recommend amending the zoning map from agricultural protection to residential with the one condition above. And that would be, the rezoned area shall be platted consistent with the adjacent residentially zoned property.
So your reasoning here was because the neighboring property was residential, is that what you're telling us?
I just set it up for recommendations of approval, because that's easier to have you guys prepared for that than trying to figure out language on the fly.
Well, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to deny the request? Do you want to make a motion to approve it?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? Motion fails from lack of a second. Now, is there a different motion on the floor? I will make the motion that we deny this request because they're not out of compliance and we've argued statements, whatever. So it's just a motion. Is there a second to that motion?
Does this go to the commissioners either way then?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Is there any more discussion before we vote? Roll call vote.
John?
I,
Franklin?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Chase?
Aye.
And Rich?
Nope.
This will go to the board on June 16th then.
on all letters.
Not for this one. And, yeah, we can talk about that another time.
Boy, we're running late. Half an hour, I talked too much. Whenever you're ready, Amelia, we're running late.
Okay. All right, so please take notice that an application has been made by G Cubed on behalf of Skyline Materials, 9468 County 18 in Hoka, for a conditional use permit to expand a quarry for mineral extraction in the Agricultural Protection District in Brownsville Township on the following premises: the northeast quarter of the southeast quarter and part of the northwest quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 22, Township 103, Range 4. Said applicant standing and making application is as fee owner of said described lands. A hearing on this application will be held at the Houston County Commissioners Room in Caledonia at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, May 28th. All persons having an interest in the matter may attend the hearing or submit comments relative to the granting or denying of said application, and comments should be mailed to the Environmental Services Department or emailed to the zoning office. It must be received by Tuesday, May 19th to be included for review prior to the hearing. All comments are considered public record. This was advertised on May 13th of 2026.
Is somebody here? Sorry that we're late.
That's okay. Sun will still be shining when we get out of here. I'm Chris Preby with G-Cube, and I represent Skyline and Bruning, one and the same. This is a quarry that they purchased as part of a larger purchase from Knife River in 2012. It's been a quarry it's a historic quarry. This year, the rock face is reaching the west boundary, so they bought 8.5 acres from the neighbor that they're not actively farming. It's trees and it's too steep to farm. So basically, to add that 8 acres, there's not a CUP on it. It's one of those historic quarries. We're kind of defining what the overall quarry would be in the life of it. So currently, it was a 40-acre parcel. Your ordinance doesn't allow a quarry to be 48 acres. So we picked the elevation where the rock is not valuable, and that's where we started the end of the quarry. So ultimately, it's a 35-acre limestone rock quarry that would be the lifespan and the largest it would get, so.
So this was considered a legal non-conforming?
Correct.
And the 8 acres you purchased is the 020089.003?
Correct, 8.5 acres actually, but we kept the 50-foot buffer around that property, so they wouldn't, yes. And the owner knew that they were buying it for the rock on the property. It wasn't like they bought it and then they surprised them with it. They bought it with the intent to mine that area.
So is that the quarry that's to the west of Brownsville?
Correct.
Part ways up the hill?
Yep. Yep.
I know where it is.
And it's standard limestone rock. The floor currently is at a level where the rock is too soft to sell for road rock, so that's kind of why it didn't get deeper than it is. It's a fairly decent sized rock wall, but it's soft stone, it infiltrates water, but it's not saleable. Like, you can't put it on township roads or driveways, it's too soft, so they're not going any deeper than they already are.
So did you say they're gonna just use it for lime then, right?
It's limestone rock, yep.
Okay, okay. So what you have in our packet here, that's our zoning ordinance. I'm assuming there's no question here, or is there questions as far, other than the stipulations, and they're really strict stipulations that I read in here. Everything as far as our zoning is in order here, Amelia, is that what you're saying?
Yep.
We would
And my questions that I had for him, and I feel he meets the standards of the ordinance.
Okay,
So do you have an easement
There's an easement, a recorded legal easement for that drive to get
for
to the
that
quarry.
driveway to go through the other
Yep.
neighbor's property?
And then the highway department did have a question about the access and wanting to make it a little wider, just to make it easier for trucks, and Bruning agreed to do whatever they can do to satisfy the highway department on that
A
entrance.
better approach, kind
Just,
of?
turning left is fine, but turning right and going to Brownsville, he had a little concern that the trucks, if they take it wide, their tires would cross the center line. So he wants more of a radius on the right-hand side so that they don't have to do that. But visibility is fine, it's just, he wanted to make sure that they didn't have to cross that center line.
Shorten up the corner, or
Yep.
lengthen the corner.
Lengthen the corner, yep.
so that if this was approved, that would be part of the approval permit, that you would have to work with the highway department to make the road satisfactory to their request, am I correct?
I actually didn't include that as a condition.
We just agreed to it in writing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's a good
yeah, I
point. We
know.
could add it.
I know, but I just wanted to clarify it, that
It could be added for a condition if
Yeah.
you want it. Yep.
Same thing with the, I'm just jumping into the findings, but in 11, you talk about it's not really good for logging because it's too steep. But, and I go back to 6, and you get the MPCA, stormwater permit, so that takes care of the runoff and the slopes.
Yep, Bruning has a general stormwater permit for industrial mining, so
Yeah.
all of their quarries, and they all have to,
Yep.
and if they're, what you realize is if this quarry gets out of compliance, they threaten all the quarries, so they don't get out of compliance here because it affects their quarry in Spring Grove, you know? That's why the MPCA does that for the industrial mining ones, so it's not a construction one where it's site-specific, it is site-specific, but they're all tied together under one permit.
any more questions from the board? Any public comments?
There was the one included in your packet.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead and read it if you want to. If you want it read, you folks do, or you want to read it yourself.
Well, it's a lengthy letter. I mean, it's in the packet, right?
Yeah.
It's this one
Yeah,
right here.
I read it.
Yep.
I read it. There wasn't any public comment out there on it, I didn't ask, I didn't see.
hadn't seen that comment. Could you read that?
Yeah.
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 That's not posted.
So he had a cover letter just introducing the fact that he had also attached a PDF. The PDF says, "Dear Commissioners, I'm a neighboring landowner in Brownsville Township writing to respectfully oppose the requested conditional use permit for expansion of the quarry operation. My property is located next to the subject site and is currently used recreationally with plans for a future cabin and potential residential use. Importantly, the quarry has not been in operation for many years and was inactive at the time I purchased my property. The site appeared largely reclaimed by natural vegetation and regrowth, and it has not functioned as an active industrial use in the current landscape. As such, this proposal is not simply an expansion of an ongoing use, but effectively the reintroduction of an intensive industrial activity into an area that has since transitioned toward recreational and residential use. Based on that context, I do not believe the proposal meets key considerations for approval of a conditional use permit. First, the proposed use is not compatible with the surrounding area. Properties in this location, particularly those near city limits, are increasingly used for residential and recreational purposes, Reintroducing and expanding an industrial quarry operation in close proximity to these properties conflicts with that pattern and creates long-term land use incompatibility. Second, the expansion raises concerns related to the health, safety, and general welfare. Increased dust, noise from the operations and blasting, and a higher volume of heavy truck traffic will directly impact the livability, safety, and usability of nearby properties. Third, the proposal will negatively affect adjacent properties, including mine. The reactivation and expansion of a quarry operation reduces residential development potential, impacts property values, and interferes with the reasonable use and enjoyment of neighboring land. Finally, the scale of the proposed activity introduces concerns related to stormwater runoff and erosion, which have the potential to affect surrounding properties in the broader landscape. Based on these factors, I respectfully request that the Planning Commission deny the application. If the commission determines that approval is appropriate, I request that any approval include strict and enforceable conditions, including substantial setbacks and buffering, limitations on hours of operation, and effective controls on dust, noise, and truck traffic. However, these measures do not fully resolve the underlying land use conflict. If possible, I respectfully request that this comment be included in the record for the hearing. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Dan Buzicki. I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you pronounce that either.
Just in general response, his property is the property to the east. We're confining the boundary of that existing quarry further west than it currently is, and he couldn't build within 1,000 feet of that existing quarry as it is now. So we're not limiting that property more by narrowing the scope of this boundary. The boundary's moving west, not east, and he's to the property to the east. As far as quarry this is an existing quarry that's been there since the 60s. There's one in the quarter to the north that's been there just as long. So quarrying happens in that vicinity, and the one to the north is active. This one has been active periodically for the life of the quarry. The rock face is active, the rock has been active, the only tree cover is what's surrounding, not within the quarry itself, so.
So I don't have LiDAR on Beacon here, but his property, isn't that pretty steep?
It's a bluff.
It is next to the road, and so I think the only potential for development out on that ridge line is to bring in a long driveway off of, I can bring it up. Off the township road out there?
Oh, up at the top, you mean?
Yeah, off the top.
Oh my
I don't know
gosh.
that you're bringing anything in.
But I mean, right along North 7th Street, well, Highway 18, there's not a potential
It's bluff.
building site there. It's straight up and down.
It is, I will caveat that with it is Brownsville.
Oh, of course,
So-
we wouldn't have any say in that then.
Right.
Okay. Never know what Brownsville might do, so.
But it'd still be within the 1,000-foot setback of the existing
Yeah.
quarry.
Did the city homes have to abide by that too? Or is that
I don't know
up to
if they have to
is
or
it
not.
that up to the determination of the city?
Yeah, probably
Just
later.
asking.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their zoning says they probably don't have anything about rock quarries in the city.
Theirs
Ordinance.
is fairly vague to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Okay, let's go to the findings. We could strike 13. Is there other ones? I only see 13. That's
Make a motion to strike.
strike 13. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? When you're ready, Amelia, go ahead.
So number one, that the proposed use conforms to the county land use plan. Analysis states that the importance of aggregate to the community for use in construction, road maintenance, and other uses is recognized in the county's values, which guide the comprehensive land use plan. Further, the transportation goal is to maintain a transportation system which complements land use development and policies throughout the county, and the materials produced by the quarry contribute to the achievement of these goals.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Go ahead.
Two, that the applicant demonstrates a need for the proposed use. Analysis states that the applicant identifies that aggregate as a mineral source used in many local and public and private projects.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
3, that the proposed use will not degrade the water quality of the county. Analysis states that excavations are proposed above the water table and there are no water features located within the area covered by this request. Stormwater will be contained within the quarry floor. Runoff from adjacent properties will not be permitted to flow into the quarry, and no chemical storage is proposed beyond gasoline and diesel fuel.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
4, that the proposed use will not adversely increase the quantity of water runoff. Analysis states that the quarry is the high point of the area, which will limit off-site water from entering the site, and screening berms will aid with diversion as well. Stormwater will be contained and treated within the quarry floor. The applicant identifies that the current floor elevation is a soft aggregate material that will allow infiltration, and a vegetated buffer will be added down the middle of the quarry to an infiltration basin to accommodate larger rainfall events. The applicant will need to secure and maintain a construction stormwater permit from the MPCA prior to operation.
All in favor of 4, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
5, that soil conditions are adequate to accommodate the proposed use. Analysis states that the overburden will be stripped and stockpiled for reclamation, but the site is an existing rock quarry, so has known quality aggregate resources.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
6, that potential pollution hazards have been addressed and that standards have been met. Analysis states that no hazardous materials except gasoline and diesel fuel will be stored on site. Portable toilets will be utilized and serviced by licensed companies, and licensed blasting contractors will be utilized and will follow standard operating procedures to reduce dust control. An NPDES permit will be required from the MPCA prior to any activity on site.
All in favor of 6, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7.
That adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities have been or are being provided. Analysis states that this site is accessed from an existing access point along County 18 and will contain necessary utilities and facilities for the operation.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
8, that adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide sufficient off-street parking and loading space to serve the proposed use. Analysis states that there is adequate parking for all employees, equipment, and truck loading within the quarry.
All in favor of 8, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 9.
That facilities are provided to eliminate any traffic congestion or traffic hazard which may result from the proposed use. Analysis states that the highway engineer expressed concern about trucks turning east having to cross the center line, and the applicant is agreeable to mitigating that concern with widening the access.
Yeah, that, I'd like to add just a little bit on there that, which we just talked about, that the county is going to work with them to change for the road along with that. All in favor of 9, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
10, that the conditional use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted. Analysis states that the quarry's location will have minimal impact on neighboring properties and be largely hidden from the public.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
11, that the establishment of the conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for predominant uses in the area. Analysis states that the surrounding property is a mixture of tillable and timber, but most of the timber has limited development opportunity due to slopes. The vacant ground exists on the ridge top and will likely see limited development due to lack of access, and this proposal will not impact any agricultural use.
All in favor 11, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 12.
That adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, and vibration, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs and other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result. Analysis states that operators will follow noise and dust mitigation methods as identified for the operation to minimize nuisances, and the quarry's location should minimize impacts to surrounding properties, and aside from those on the opposing ridge top, the operation will be protected from view of the public.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 14.
14, that the intensity of any proposed commercial or industrial development is not greater than the intensity of the surrounding uses or not greater than the intensity characteristic of the applicable zoning district. Analysis states that this proposal is a request to expand the physical boundary and location of the operation, but is not increasing the intensity of the current operation.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
14, that site-specific conditions and such other conditions are established as required for the protection of the public's health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Analysis states that the area has been used for mineral extraction historically, but the general public's health, safety, morals, and general welfare should be minimally impacted, provided all minimum performance requirements set forth in permits are met.
All in favor of 15, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to accept the findings, please.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. Okay, what we got here? Well, you wanna go ahead and read what you got, Amelia, there?
So it'd be a motion to recommend to the Houston County Board, or that the Houston County Board approve a conditional use permit to expand a quarry for mineral extraction with 10 conditions in Brownsville Township. They are the standard conditions that we've been including. Would you like me to read them all?
No, I don't think you have to.
I guess I will just note that if you don't want me to, on number 7, we ask that you also notify the city of Brownsville before blasting, rather than just adjacent, or on top of all the landowners as well.
Well, maybe you
Phone
should.
calls.
Maybe you should. It's quite lengthy. Quite lengthy there. Do you want to read them so they're on record, or before we vote on it?
Well, can I ask a question about 3?
Yeah.
When we get to, on 3, it's, E, it talks about, kind of a report on the activities that are going on, reclamation, you know. Are you gonna, which comes first, or are they gonna be in tandem? I mean, are you gonna, as you kind of removing the, you know, the top and trees and the dirt, are you gonna use that to reclaim? Kind of, or?
It'll be, they're not opening this up 35 acres at once. Currently, it's 10 acres. It's been, they spent the spring cleaning up the 10 acres, so they're ready to go. And what'll happen is, they'll probably strip 5 acres, and that'll be stockpiled. They'll blast. When they get that sold off, they'll have that stockpile to start reclaiming from, they're gonna work to the north on what they just bought, then work their way west. So as they strip, those strippings will go back towards the east to start reclaiming behind them. So the quarry floor is gonna move, and they'll do ongoing reclamation as they go. They don't want 40 acres open. It's not
Yeah.
that type of quarry. It's easier to not move that dirt multiple times. So once they get their perimeter berms constructed, as they strip the overburden, they'll start using that for reclamation, so they're not moving it multiple times. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
And then
that
they'll seed it as they go.
Yeah, and then, like, there's been a lot of activity, a lot of it in the past. Has any of that been reclaimed, or has nature kind of reclaimed it?
Well, they just cleaned all of that up.
Okay.
And because the current floor that's there now, they're gonna use that for staging as they go. So, as they blast the wall and start processing on the current floor, they need to get further north to make room to start moving the operation to the north. So as they do that, at the entrance, that's always gonna be rock until this quarry's
Yeah.
over. But as you go to the northeast of the entrance, that will start to get reclaimed as they move north.
Okay. Because, I mean, part of it is, so you guys just got it, so it's not,
2012, I believe, is when
Yeah,
they bought it,
but-
yeah.
but there's been a lot of activity prior to you guys having it.
Yeah, so what you'll find in a lot of the historic quarries is they've
Yeah,
just been
they sit for
operating,
a
you know,
long
and then
time.
they come back to them when they sell rock in the area, you know, they just leave it. That's not what they're gonna do here,
Okay.
so.
Okay, so
I just
go ahead,
point
Aaron.
out number 5, the financial insurance shall be filed with the county treasurer in an amount of not less than $15,000. So it's a surety bond, basically.
They have, everyone they do, they have a bond.
Yeah,
So can we make a motion and include all the, like it says, state, federal, what have you, and include all of this on the back, or can't we make a motion to that effect?
Yeah, with the 10
With the
conditions.
10 conditions.
Right.
Yep.
Without reading them all. Not that we're trying to hide anything, that isn't the point.
they've become our standard conditions, just like the elevations get updated or,
So does someone, unless you got more discussion or questions, does someone will make a motion to approve this or deny it, or?
The whole thing, or just the findings?
We did the finding.
Did the
This is the motion to approve
The
the,
findings.
yeah,
I'd make that
approve the permit with the regulations.
With 10
Laws, state
conditions.
laws and everything.
I'll make
I'll make that motion. Or second it, I don't care.
John second. Yeah.
Okay, any more discussion before we vote? If not, roll call vote.
John. Franklin.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Chase.
Aye.
Rich.
Aye.
Anything, motion is carried. Anything else that, board wants to discuss before we adjourn?
Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
This is a neat little place.
Yeah.
It's a really neat little place.
Yeah.
Down the valley from here.
Amelia, can I ask not to add, you did get some tower information?
Oh,
Thank you, Michelle.
yeah, I will take no credit. Should put together some information on towers for you guys.
Just about to get to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Otherwise, I have no announcements or anything for you guys.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. I thank you folks for being patient with me.